What is up, everybody? It's Matthew. I hope you guys are doing good. We're back here today with part 2 of this series, Visit Sweden, The Don'ts of Visiting Sweden, by Walter's World. We like part 1 about America very much. Going to check out this one and see. Going to be interesting, like, as a Swede myself, to see what he's talking about. Make sure to leave a like down below if you want to support this channel. Subscribe if you haven't done it already to don't miss out on any of this content, and leave a comment down below with what you want to see in the future. Let's dive right into it.
Hello travelers, Mark here with Walter's World, and today we are here in the islands of Stockholm. And I'll tell you why I'm not telling you the name later, because it's Swedish and we always have problems with that. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Sweden. And the first don't I have for you is don't ignore the line culture. Look,
yeah, and people get so uncomfortable if you ever intervene with a line. Like, people get so uncomfortable.
Sweden, they love their lines, and even if you don't see the line there, everybody knows who was first, who was second, who was third. So don't try to jump the line, whether it's at the bus or getting on a...
And these horses, by the way, these are actually cultural landmarks in the mid-north of Sweden. So yeah,
ferry or doing whatever, they do follow the line. So do be careful with that, because they are pretty strict with that one. So that's the first thing, is don't skip the line. Follow who went first and things like that. My second don't for you is, if you're lucky enough to get invited to a Swede's home, which you probably will because the people are really nice here, is don't wear your shoes inside their house. It's
never, ever, ever do that. Never, ever. This is probably the biggest thing ever. Whenever, when I would go, if you go to parties or if you're out at the club and maybe, you have you get something going on and you follow someone home, bringing your shoes inside someone's apartment can ruin the entire mood. You can get kicked out this fast. People are super serious about that. Leave them in the hallway.
It's the biggest insult when you go to somebody's home.
Yeah.
When you go in, you're going to see they'll have places to put your shoes all the time. So just take your shoes off, put it there. Sometimes they might have slippers for you, sometimes not. It's okay, but just know you're going to take your shoes off. So if you got stinky socks and feet, make sure you wear clean socks and, wash your feet before you go there, okay? Now, my third...
Not that serious. I mean, don't bring stinky socks, but the main point is don't bring your shoes in. Just leave them at the hallway.
Don't for you is probably more related to the tourists, that when we come here is, when you come to Sweden, you're going to want to go to the clubs and the bars and things like that, because they've got some really fun clubs around the country. But the thing is a lot of times, especially here in Stockholm, you have what's called face control. So my don't for you for this is, don't expect to get into a club if you don't dress the part. You do have to dress up when you go out here, because there will be people pointing, okay, you can go in, you can go.
Yeah, this also really goes for Stockholm. It's more a very, it's also depends, of course, on the clubs, but mainly you have a lot of clubs. They're really targeting more hip, young audience. You want you to look like you have a lot of money, so they will either accept you for if you're a celebrity, or if you dress like you have a lot of cash. If you want to walk around being casual, I would highly recommend you just going to the local pubs. Clubs, usually they want you to look really fly. They want you to look like you have a lot of money, that you can buy stuff, that you're really dressed up to the skies. So yeah, some clubs of course are very more casual, but I would really recommend, if you're walking around in jeans, t-shirts, most of the times pub are probably going to be a better way to go.
Go in, you can go in. Now this is more of a Stockholm issue, but it does happen in other places around the country. So don't dress like crap when you come here. There's a reason why we all wear H&M stuff. That's a Swedish company, because they got some really cool cheap style here. So go hit one of the thousands of stores in the country so you can look good when you go out, and then you can actually get in when you want to go out. Now my fourth don't for you is...
A pro tip there. If you have a white t-shirt and black jeans or black pants, whatever, white t-shirt, black pants will get you in literally everywhere.
Don't worry too much about your safety when you come to Sweden. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff in the news about things going on here, but the thing is Sweden is very safe. And just like anywhere you go, if you go to the parts you're supposed to go to and don't go to the parts you're not supposed to go to, you're gonna be okay. And that's one of the things, is we have our kids here and we let them kind of run around and have a good time, because Sweden is really safe. So
it is super safe. The media are over exaggerating Sweden by fucking 5,000 billion steps. It's insane. When I grew up, I'm 24. When I was 10, 15, I kind of grew up in a quite big city. So, I could literally walk around at night. I would walk around at night and I was never worried about anything. You know, you have like parents letting their kids running around at night, like outside, and you know, you don't really have like a lot of, you know, like homeless people and like drug addicts walking around either. Maybe you can like find them very, very deep into like the subway stations or like the central stations, like the train stations at night, or like under bridges, but like they are very, very rare. And most of the time you will be able to walk around just fine here. But there are of course some areas that you should avoid. But if you go here, it's super easy to just talk to people, and they will like make sure that you understand where to not go.
So don't worry about your safety too much. But just like anywhere, you want to pay attention. I mean, there's even pickpocket signs in the airport when you're going through the passport check, okay? So just a heads up on that, but you don't have to worry too much about the safety. Another don't I have for you is don't forget to bring a credit card with a PIN number, okay?
Yeah.
Because they don't always take cash here, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but just one thing you should know. Also kind of a don't with that one is don't bring euros. They use the Swedish crown here, so you're going to use the Swedish krona when you do pay, but you will most likely use credit card instead of cash. So don't take out a bunch of money from the ATM when you come here, because you're going to be using your credit card most of the time. And I mentioned that because our next don't is don't expect a cheap vacation in Sweden. Unless you're coming from Norway. If you're coming from Norway, this place is cheap. But if you're coming from anywhere else, look, Sweden is not a cheap place to go. Drinking,
Nope.
eating, hotels, things like that throughout the country.
That's the place to talk to you about. Yeah, exactly. You can only buy alcohol from that. Like, you can buy from restaurants, but this is the only store that you can buy alcohol from.
It is really pricey, so make sure you prepare your pocketbook for when you come here. And that's why when I tell a lot of people, it's like, look, you can do the Scandinavian tour and things like that, but also throw in the Baltics. Go over to Tallinn and Riga and Lithuania and stuff like that, and you can like kind of balance out the money you're going to spend, because this is not a cheap place to come. Now, a seventh don't for you is don't expect the Swedish food to wow you. Look, new Scandinavian cuisine is actually really good. The new stuff out there, it got influence and fusion from all over. But the traditional Swedish foods, you know, like the herring and the 19 versions of herring and things like that, and there's other things out there, probably not. There's probably a reason why you don't see so many Swedish restaurants around the world. Now, the new Scandinavian, the restaurants they have here has actually good food. But traditional Swedish food is probably not what you're going to be looking for to
These ones though are fire. Cinnamon rolls.
enjoy a lot. There are some good stuff, like their cinnamon rolls. Oh my God, they're fantastic. But just know, when you're going to be going out to eat here, go try new Scandinavian cuisine or other things here. So you have a lot of different international flavors. You'll have that. That's good. But the traditional local stuff is, well, like I said, check how many Swedish restaurants are in your hometown. Now, my eighth don't for you is don't worry if you don't understand anything in Swedish. You'll see words and go, like this over here says Fjäderholmarniskrog.
Yeah, that's basically, so this is like basically a outdoor restaurant by the sea. Krog is like, yeah, like an outdoor pub/restaurant kind of place.
I have no idea what the hell that says. And you'll have that a lot of times in Swedish, like, dude, I have no idea. But it's okay. Throughout Sweden, people speak English, German. You have all kinds of languages people speak here, because the Swedes are really good, and they have really, really good accents. I mean, it's one of the places where you go,
Yeah, you can just look at me. I have the best accent ever, right?
oh, they speak the language, and you're like, are you a tourist as well? Oh, no, I'm Swedish. I had English in school. Their English is fantastic, so don't worry about that. But I will say a little extra don't on there is don't do your Swedish, your Swedish chef impression, because a lot of people go, oh, yeah, Swedish. You're flirty, blurty, flirty, blurty. Look, the Swedes won't get that upset. They might laugh at you, but it's more like the kind of thing. So maybe don't do the Swedish chef when you are here.
I mean, we have like probably one of the countries, if you go to Europe, I would say that, of course, England, maybe not today. There's like so much slang, but Norway, Denmark, Sweden, maybe Finland, probably Finland, are going to be the places where you're going to find the best, like the people that speaks the best English, I would say, because we all are from grade 3 in elementary school, so 7, 10. We are like having like mandatory English classes for 10 years when we grew up. Like, we have to read English for 10 years. In a lot of other countries, like, it's so it's not like mandatory. You can like, it's super optimal. You have to learn it for like 3 years. But we have to learn it for always 10 years. Like, whatever, if you're going to be a construction worker, if you're going to be a teacher, a dentist, whatever, 10 years English always.
Now, my ninth don't for you is don't worry about the Swedish silence. Look, when you're on, like, you're taking the subway here in Stockholm, or you're taking buses throughout the country, you're taking the trains, you'll notice it's very quiet, like you hear the birds here going. The Swedes are very reserved and quiet, except when they're drinking. Then they just start singing all kinds of crazy songs. But in general, it's really kind of quiet. And if you're talking and you're hanging out with Swedes and there's not a lot of people talking, don't be upset by it. That's a normal kind of thing, okay? So don't worry about the Swedish silence, all right? I guess another little don't is if one of your Swedish friends says, oh, we're going to have a special dish from Sweden, and they're going to say, oh, we're going to have surströmming. Look,
Don't touch that shit. I'm telling you guys, don't touch it.
that is fermented Baltic herring, possibly the most stinkiest thing you can actually eat. And oh my God, so don't get tricked by your Swedish friends, because they do like to do that sometimes. And if you do have that, don't eat it in your house. Eat it outside and like let the neighbors know, because it is insanely disgustingly smelling. But actually, it doesn't taste that bad. But the smell is, well, it's just not good. Now, my 11th don't for you is don't gawk, okay? Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. The people in Sweden are really good looking. The guys and the girls are gorgeous. You look around going, my God, they look so good. My God, they're so good looking. And they dress really well. And you're saying that, wait, wouldn't they all get in the clubs because they want to? Look, just don't gawk too much when you are here, because they are quite good looking when you are here. A couple other little things you might want to realize is don't think the Swedish fish candy we have in the US and other places, they don't have Swedish fish here. You're not going to buy Swedish fish in a bag. What you're going to do is you're going to go to a candy store. In the candy store, you'll get a scooper, and then you scoop up things that look like the Swedish fish to put in a bag, and you
Wow, you guys eat that over there? Wow.
do it that way. So don't go in looking for the bags of it, like pre-packaged. You're going to go to a candy store, dig it out, and put it into a bag for you. Also, don't call don't call IKEA, okay? IKEA in the US
IKEA.
is from here, and it's nowhere near as popular here as it is in the US. Like in the US, you say, oh, I went to IKEA, and everyone's like, oh, you got that IKEA? Oh my God. And here it's like, oh yeah, I went to IKEA and I got it. It's like another place to go shopping, all right?
Yeah.
So don't be thinking it's a magnificent, a wonderful thing as we find in the US, as they might not find it the same way here. Oh, and I guess I have one other don't I have for you for Sweden. If you're gonna be sailing in the islands and stuff like that, don't go on a boat that's called broken, because yes, it was quite prophetic that it broke down while we were going through the archipelagos. So it was a little bit scary, but it worked out okay. We got towed and had some fun and melted through some things, but it was good. But just don't take a boat called broken, just FYI. Anyway, I hope this helps you enjoy more of Sweden. It is a really cool place. I highly recommend it. We have all kinds of videos on visiting Sweden, 10 things that'll shock you about Sweden, 5 things you'll love and hate, what you should eat when you're here, because yes, there are some things you should eat. I know I made fun of the surströmming, but in the food in general, but there are some
People don't actually eat that. I mean, like, some people do, but I mean, like, it's more like of a meme, something that you want to like trick people into eating.
really cool things you should try. Anyway, if you want to learn more, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook.
And you gotta test this place out for sure. Max Burgers, like, people, it's kind of a debate, but like everywhere in the world, people like, you know, they want McDonald's. Here we actually have a place that people, we are like very nationalistic, I would say, in Sweden, especially when it comes to food. And Max is like the Swedish equivalent to McDonald's, and you only have it in Sweden, but it's like super big here. Like you find like multiply restaurants everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're going to find it. And it's like super good. Like I had American friends over and they really enjoy it. So if you go to Sweden, make sure that you try out a Max Burger.
Instagram, YouTube, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and we hope you have a great time here in Sweden. But don't worry, you will. Your wallet won't, but you will. Bye from Sweden. Oh, and the reason why I didn't say what this island was out loud is because I can't pronounce it, and that's one of the things about Swedish. Like, you're just like, I don't know how to pronounce these things.
It's a very hard language, actually. It is actually very different, like very difficult. I mean, like I heard myself talking somewhere, like sometimes, and I'm like, bro, this doesn't even make sense. But yeah, it was a good video. A lot of these points make perfectly sense. But I mean, like, also, it's a very expensive country in a lot of different ways. But there are also a lot of ways that you can really be here quite cheap, though. Don't go to the fanciest, like, mainstream restaurants. Like, the restaurants that you usually will find on TripAdvisor, that's going to be the highest rated ones, are probably going to be quite bad. Not quite bad, they're probably going to be good, but you're probably going also to get little food for a lot of money. If I were to go to Sweden, like as a tourist, if you go to like the bigger cities, there are always a lot of super affordable places to go to. So don't be scared. Like there are a lot of restaurants that are super expensive, but there are also a lot of places that are very, very affordable. Now, of course, affordable depends a lot on where you come from in the world, obviously. But let's say you could have like a steak dinner at one place. The steak dinner will be like $15 or $20. And at another place, you could get a steak dinner for like $8 in like the same city. So it's a big variation there. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next, and if you like this video. Also, if you want me to make a video of my own with what I recommend you guys to do if you guys come to Sweden, my own 10 don'ts or do's in Sweden. Let me know in the comments down below. It was a pleasure doing this video. Hope to see you guys around in the next one.